Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently in a slightly awkward situation. We need more workers. There's no doubt about that. Otherwise, we're in a pretty good situation here, all things considered. But if we look at this, we can see we've only got like 10k unemployed people right now. We do still have about 700k peasants, but I'm expecting that to go away fairly quickly here. Now, there is apparently a revolution brewing here to preserve landed voting. They can only go up to 50, though. So there's not a lot of radicalism here. The Junkers really can't do too much. So I think this is completely fine. Of course, we're currently in this war here. We're not participating in it. We're just kind of chilling. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of universal suffrage have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. Okay. Minus 5% bureaucracy is probably okay. The radicalism, do we care about that right now? Maybe to a degree, but unfortunately, our chances of enacting this are dropping. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Our cash reserves are definitely starting, well, we're still paying down our credit, to be clear, but our surplus is becoming quite good. So we should definitely consider thinking about bumping up even government wages, potentially. 172k? Yep, that should be fine. And military wages should be okay, too. So we're basically as good as we can get as far as this goes. Fantastic. Checking in on our institutions. Those are all maxed out. Nothing to be done there. Peace treaty, sure. And at this point, we would absolutely love to go to universal suffrage, but our chances of success are very low. Very, very low indeed. We'll keep working on that. We'll keep an eye on the Junkers here. I'm not too concerned about that necessarily, but we'll keep an eye on that. And our income is just continuing to skyrocket. So that's great. What do we have going on right now? Well, our biggest things at this moment is that our standard of living is increasing. We do need to work on our monarchy here. We're a constitutional monarchy at this point, and we're a contested government currently. So we would definitely like to work our way up here. So the clout in the Nazi Party is higher than the Conservative Party, but the Progress Party is definitely in the lead right now. Our next election is going to be in about 2 years. So that should be okay. And all things considered, I would like to get our legitimacy up to the next level here. Unfortunately, we just don't have the ability to do that right now. Hypothetically, I don't think this would improve our fortunes at all. Yeah, that would definitely not improve anything. But I just want to double check. I'm reasonably certain that it won't, and that will be, I believe, because of the voting situation. However, universal suffrage likely would give us a lot more legitimacy. So that would be what we would want to go for. It's just a whole lot more legitimacy. So that would be great. And of course, this war's going to be over pretty soon. So that's fine. We could start thinking about expanding our military. That's definitely something we could do. Yes. For the time being, I'm just going to take these all up to multiples of 5. So anything that is not will go up to the nearest multiple of 5. Something like this. This will probably... Actually, I don't think this will take us negative in our construction, now that I think about it. We're making so much money. I think we're okay. So that'll do the trick there. Cool. So each one of these barracks gives us 1 battalion per level. So that'll be a few battalions per level. There's also those unscaled modifiers. Cool. Now, another thing we could think about doing is maxing all of this out, but I don't think we have the employees for that, to be honest. Our population is definitely growing, and it's growing pretty quickly now. 1.62% annually. So that's very, very good. Our GDP is recovering still, and we have far outstripped everyone else economically. Wow, look at how little Scandinavia is making. Even Austria, the number 2, 430 million, about half of our GDP. That's insane to me. Absolutely wild. Follies of youth. The universal suffrage reform has led to a debate about the voting age in North German Federation. Neither of my parents can read, but my brother can, and more importantly, does. Last time he came home from university, he asked me about the sense of duty I felt towards the North German Federation, having sworn to die defending it. Then he told me about the new voting reform and asked me if I had ever considered the duties North German Federation should have towards myself. I think he makes a compelling argument, and if I'm old enough to vote, he most certainly is too. So we could do a voting age of 25, reducing our enactment time by 20%, but making academics and servicemen more radical. We could make it be 21, increasing our enactment time by 20%, or 18, reducing our enactment time by 20%, but giving political movement radicalism to landed voting. To the Junkers here. Okay, that's interesting. So the voting age 21 compromise and then a voting age of 25. Honestly, I feel like the academic and serviceman pops becoming radical is better for us than the Junkers getting political movement radicalism. And it's the same enactment time reduction. So we'll go for that. Fantastic. Okay. Wow, are those barracks already done constructing? They absolutely are. Okay. So one thing that I wish that we had in this tab here. Sure, we have 30K unemployed, but how many jobs are currently open? I wish there was an easy way to see that. Like, how many job spaces could we fill? That would be very good to know. Our food industries have apparently forgotten that they're all supposed to be like this. There we go. Is there any others that forgot? No. Just food industries, and I think that probably happened because we finished up a production method or something. I'm not sure. But there we go. That's great. Our GDP is kind of chilling for the moment, but it's mostly on an upward trajectory. Our number of radicals is also slightly upward. I'm not shocked about that, given our current situation, and our loyalists are slightly downward. So the question then becomes, once we reach an equilibrium on our standard of living, how do we get more loyalists? The answer is government legitimacy. That's what it comes down to. Military aviation has now been unlocked. Cool. And we have everything done in our production and our society tab. So these are all complete, I believe. Yes. So in our military tab, we are close to getting everything done. Let's grab mobile armor. We'll get that done. Cool. And for the moment, we're not going to crank up our military resource types, although we are interested in doing that for sure. Because we know that we have a pretty good shortage of certain materials when we do that. Opium is a big one that we can't really get ourselves, so we're probably going to have to import that. But as far as our others go here, we definitely want to work our way down this. For sure. But there's a lot of inventions that we can do here. Yeah, that's a lot more ammo consumption. That's to be expected. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not interested in building additional conscription centers. I don't know that we even can build them. We can activate them, but I don't think we can build them. Okay, that's good to know. We can definitely build barracks, and I'm reasonably okay with that. Hello. We missed one in Westphalia, it seems. Cool. Okay, so that is all fine. Our pop growth is coming up nicely. We've gained almost 1 million population since this episode started. Well, more specifically, we've gained 500,000. I was rounding up there, but it's definitely going well on that front. Very glad to see that, and hopefully that means that our jobs are being filled. The question is, are they? And the fact that we apparently have to go through all of these building by building to look at that is a little strange to me. We could definitely use more employees in our wheat farms in Württemberg. No doubt about that one. Insufficient taxation capacity in Silesia does mean that we definitely need a new government administration there. So we'll get that going, and low market access in Pomerania and still in Posen. Now, I believe in both of those situations we had sufficient railway, but we were lacking employment. We are auto-expanding there, it would appear. In Silesia, anyway. Opposition members have put forth demands to universal suffrage. They've offered to change their stance were they be offered political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the trade unions. The trade unions are very popular, or very happy with us right now. We honestly do need the enactment success chance. So let's bump that up. Cool. We're going to be exiting debt here quite soon. So that's good to know. I think we'll chill here in terms of our finances until we exit our debt. So that's going to be another, let's see here, we're making roughly 500k per week. We figure that we'll exit our debt somewhere around 44 weeks from now. So under a year. That's fantastic. I'm really, really glad about that. Our subsidies are kind of flickering around, but we do have an input goods shortage of oil and dye. That's reasonably expected, but I'm wondering right now. We built a lot of synthetics plants recently, right? So I'm wondering, unable to fully hire. Yeah, that's what I expected. The problem is that our synthetics plants are not hiring. So we just need more people for that, right? But all of this construction does, of course, mean we're probably outstripping our population growth. Probably. I really do wish that we could see how many unfilled jobs there were right here next to our unemployment. That would be really good to know. But we're watching this auto construct happening, and I think that's reasonably okay for the time being. Now, our loyalists are definitely dropping off a little bit. And our radicals are growing, but that is because we're struggling to pass universal suffrage. Once that gets passed, we'll be in a better position, I think. Because that will give us a lot, I think, of legitimacy. I hope. Hopefully. The industrialists are unhappy, the Junkers are angry, the evangelicals are unhappy. It is what it is. We have a 25% chance of passing landed voting. So let's see, or rather, of passing universal suffrage. We don't have a chance of passing landed voting. What is our current voting law? Is that currently landed? Let's see here. Yeah, we're currently on landed voting. Okay. I would love to get this for that sweet, sweet legitimacy from government clout and votes. You can see here, we get 90 legitimacy from government clout. This is going to be 20. But we're going to get 100 from votes. This is 30 from votes. So that's plus 70 versus... Actually, that's the same amount of legitimacy, isn't it? Interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. Based on my calculations, that'll be broadly similar amounts of legitimacy. What is this? Let's see here. Revolutionary Parma versus Parma? I don't care. Whatever. We're going to declare neutrality there. That'll be absolutely fine. So Austria militarily outstrips us, but primarily due to their conscripts. 5261 versus our 418. But that's because we have our military, like, really stripped back right now. Like, really stripped back in terms of our development here. So if we crank that up, we'll be fine. Our railways weren't all subsidized. That's fascinating. We should subsidize them. That'll be okay. And we seem to be doing okay with our urban centers here. I would like to go to public motor carriages. Decreased employment on laborers. That's very interesting. We'll test it and see how it feels. That brings our number of unemployed up dramatically, which is actually quite good, for the record. That is quite good for us right now. Now, this is going to be 1.9 million more clerks and 500,000 more shopkeepers, but we're going to be losing 2.26 million laborers. We can try this and see if we can get away with this now. Now, our urban centers have no productivity like this. Okay, we should definitely run it like this. That's guaranteed. We should certainly do that. Wait, that was weird. I'm not sure why this... Okay, whatever. We're going to leave it be. We're going to leave it be. So these people are going to get re-employed. We're not going to have any problems with that. Our unemployment is very, very low, and it's going to continue to be very low. Now, dissenters have broken ranks. The trade unions may appear firmly committed to the idea of universal suffrage, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now, a clique of dissenters have finally had enough, and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our own concerns are left unanswered, and our desires left unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Okay, so that makes things tough. We could grease palms for a couple of years. But we're really struggling on this inaction of universal suffrage. We may have to give it up. But we'll see. For the moment, I don't mind that too much. What is this political movement? Wealth voting? Sure. That seems fine. Our GDP has dipped slightly here, but I expect that that's due to the fact that we just fired and are now working on rehiring a bunch of people from our urban centers. I think that'll be okay. No big deal there. Now, our literacy has actually dropped a little bit in terms of percentage. I would like to increase our literacy, but there isn't really much we can do about that. We're maxed out on our education. We do need to work through some of these laws. That's for sure. But that universal suffrage... Actually, that would increase our legitimacy by 28, according to that tooltip. Yes. Okay, so 28 would get us how much? We're at 59 right now. That would definitely put us up into a legitimate government, which would be really, really solid. I would love that. That would be so good. Because that way we would start getting a passive drift of loyalists. Rather than what we've got right now, which is just kind of awkward. We're just kind of awkwardly chilling. So that's great. This revolution is going to be chilling at about 61. We're hoping that we manage to roll this successfully, but it's only a 14% chance. And our checkpoints haven't been great. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Our GDP is back up over 900 million. We've almost crested the 1 billion GDP mark again. The intelligentsia have approached us with an offer to expedite the process. Minus 20% in enactment time here. Done. We'll definitely work on that. Cool. So about 100 days per checkpoint. Now the industrialists have started this revolution to enact a council republic. So the industrialists are currently angry. That's intriguing to me. I didn't realize that they were at minus 10, but okay. We'll keep an eye on that. How much are they gaining per week? Okay. Would just stopping inaction of universal suffrage cause that revolution to stop? And if it went off, okay, that's a lot of states that would secede, so we can't allow that to happen. That's for sure. We're just going to chill for the moment. I don't think we get this inaction done, though. 70 days? They're gaining 7 per week. Oh, Hey, here we go. Our first election since the voting franchise was extended to women, marking the beginning of a new era in North German democracy. Dropping our vote into the ballot box was, in a way, an anticlimactic moment. Getting there had felt like a real political struggle. It had been loud, disobedient, sometimes violent. The reward was this quiet, orderly exercise of power. Once again, she was a loyal citizen. Only the expectations had changed. Then again, perhaps this was what power felt like. Perhaps that was what made it insidious. She wondered if this had been how those who had denied her this up until now had felt. For a fleeting moment, she hoped she would not get used to it. Okay, so intelligentsia would gain the feminist ideology, or this person, this politician, would get 30 popularity for 5 years. This would just make intelligentsia generally happier, basically forever. Done. Okay, so this Council Republic thing here. This is going to be an issue. The Conservative Party is currently projected to win 96% of the vote. That's a lot. We've got the Free-Minded People's Party, which has negative 88% momentum, because their leader is unpopular. And it looks like the Progress Party is not participating. That's fascinating. So the Junkers are on track to form the new government. That's okay. We're almost certainly... Actually, hang on a moment. And yeah, that would change the current government's legitimacy by minus 22 at this point, but that's because of the election. Let me check something here. So we're now in an unacceptable government. So if we were to reform the government, we kick out the intelligentsia and the armed forces. Now we put in the Evangelical Church and the Junkers. And obviously we don't put in the Free-Minded People's Party, but we put in something like this. But they can't be approved while they can't be promoted while they're angry. So let's let this finish up. We're going to let this roll. I don't expect that this succeeds. And then we're going to cancel inaction of universal suffrage, I think. 35 more days. Or when this hits at least 93%. But I don't think this is going to succeed. Partisan papers, huh? Publications associated with the Conservative Party have been effective in spreading the party line. Okay, so they have so much momentum. A boon for the publishers. Sure. They have so much momentum that this seems fine to me. So we've got, at this point, 18 days until the next checkpoint. Battleship has now been unlocked. We are currently running a small deficit. I'm okay with this. Yes, I'm okay with this. So this revolution is at 84%. We're 10 days to the next checkpoint. We just ticked. So we should be good here. We get to roll this. So these guys tick up here to 91. Then we finish up this checkpoint. It fared poorly in public debates. Okay, so we're going to stop trying to enact this. Does that on its own make this revolution go away? Actually, yes. Yes, it does. Beautiful. So that's fantastic. I love it. We're going to continue to tick forward here, but we should be thinking about our military here pretty soon. France versus Revolutionary France, huh? Boy, Revolutionary France is going to win that. That's very interesting. Unless they have outside help, I suppose. That's a possibility, for sure. Okay, so we're going to continue to tick on through here. The real question now is, A, what's with our GDP? We've got some low market access here. But what indeed? We're not in default. This might just be a temporary downturn. Unemployed 253k. Sure. Ah, the Great Molasses Flood. This is probably what it was. A storage tank full to the brim with molasses intended for rum distillation has burst, flooding the streets of Munich's commercial center, killing dozens and injuring hundreds of bystanders. So that's probably what's going on. Minus 50% food industry's building throughput for 5 years. That's pretty intense. Luckily, I don't think that food industry is too much of our GDP. But that does hurt. No doubt about that. Okay, so we're back. Oh, right, we didn't actually do this. So the Junkers are now neutral and unhappy, so we should kick these guys out and bring the Conservative Party into power here to boost us up to a contested government. Again. There we go. Now, bringing anyone else into this should be negative. But we'll go ahead and do that. So that way we don't have our radicals ticking up. Now they should be ticking back down. So that's excellent. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to probably work a bit on our military. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentwin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisol, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.